Alright guys, this is part 3 for building Aang's staff. In this part we're going to go ahead and we let the glue dry overnight, and so now we're ready to go ahead and cut the nails off. And then we're also going to trim up the wings here, that way they'll slide in nice and snug. And we're going to start putting on that outer shell. So let's get started. Okay, to cut the nails off, all I'm using is my Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel on it. I'm just going to go ahead and take off all the ends of the nails. Okay, I got the nails cut off. They're still sticking up a little bit, so I'm just going to take the grinder here and just flush them up with the wood now. Okay, now what I'm going to do, you'll see these wing pieces are a little too long because of where the pivot points are located now, so I'm just going to take the Dremel tool again with the cutoff wheel and just cut off just enough so that it'll slide through and not touch the end here. Okay, before we get started putting the outer shell around the staff, we're going to need to mark a line measuring 3 inches up from the bottom. And we don't want to put the outer shell around this area, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to make a cap that slides down and up, and that will overlap the wing pieces so that when it's closed the wings will be locked and won't pull open. Then all you have to do to open the staff is just slide it out of place and the wings will open up. So again, that's going to be 3 inches. If you want, you can make it on both sides of the staff, that way you don't forget. But that's very important for later on. Okay. Now we're going to have to do the same thing for the upper wing here, because we're going to have another sliding piece in this area that will lock the wing shut, and then when slid out of the way, the wings will pop open. So you're going to measure from the bottom . 33.5. Make your line at 33.5, and then you're going to want to go about a 1/2 inch past where your opening is. So I'm just lining up a 1/2 inch mark here right at the opening, and then going a 1/2 inch past here. Again, you don't want to put anything in this area because we're going to be making something that slides out of the way to let the wings open. Okay guys, we got everything marked where we don't want to put a second layer on. We're going to be using, I got the 2 other strips of 1/4 inch thick strips that we're going to use to help put on the outer shell. I also have all my scrap cut out leftover wood. I'm going to use this and cut again 1/4 inch strips out of what I can out of all of this, so just piece everything together. Remember that we got the holes for the rubber bands to go through for both the top and the bottom wing. Don't cover those up. Or if you put something over it, make sure to re-drill through that area that way. you can put those rubber bands in. So basically what you're going to do to layer it is get your pieces, you're just going to put down some wood, Elmer's glue, stick it on, and I find it's best to hold it down with quick grips. It's just really quick. You can put the piece down, clamp it down, and leave it there until it dries. And don't worry about covering up the nails. This second layer is actually what's going to help hold the nails in place, that way they don't come out. And plus it looks nicer with the finished product because it's hidden and it's just one solid piece of wood. Okay guys, we got all the outer layer on now. It is a little rough, some stuff sticking out. And it is kind of bulky. We're going to grind this down a little bit later, but now we're going to get started on the locks for both the top wing and the bottom wing. Okay, to make the lock for the top wing, you're going to need 4 pieces that measure 2.5 inches long. Again, these are still, we're working with 1/4 inch thick strips. I already pre-cut these. On one of these we're going to need a slot to put the nail in, and that'll allow it to slide back and forth to lock in place. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to start out with, we're going to take 2 side pieces and we're going to glue them up, straight up, and clamp them down and wait till the glue dries. Alright, we'll just go ahead and wait until that dries. Okay, while that one is drying, we're going to start setting up the bottom locking mechanism. What you're going to need is 4 pieces measuring 3¼ inch, 3 1/4 inch. You'll need 4 of those. Then you're going to need one piece that is 1 1/8 inch thick. And one of your edge pieces you're going to make another notch, a little over 1/2 inch in length, and just drill a series of holes, fill it out, or run it back and forth in the drill bit to open it up, and then you'll be all set. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start gluing this together. What we're going to do is take a smaller end piece and I'm going to glue it in between the two, like that. Then what we'll do is we'll take the last two pieces, just glue one up top and glue one underneath like that. Alright, that's all glued now. We'll just leave it here to dry for the moment. Okay guys, this is the top portion of the wing. This is all dried up, ready to go. Basically what we're going to do now is, I actually had to, well, you want to fit this over, make sure that it'll slide over nice and easy. Mine was a little too thin on the inside, so I had to grind it out a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on. We're going to put some glue on these here, and we're going to put the top piece on. And we'll clamp it so that it'll be held in place. But while it's being glued, what you guys want to do is just slide it back and forth, make sure that it moves once it's all glued. And you want to keep doing that every once in a while, because if glue seeps down and dries, this thing will be locked in place, and we don't want that. So we'll go ahead and put the glue on, put this, and then this will be almost done. Okay, this is all dried now. You can see we're good. It slides back and forth nice and easy. So we know this will be good for now. So now let's look at the bottom lock mechanism. Okay. So the bottom piece is all dried now. All we got to do is just slide it on, make sure that it fits. I actually had to grind this bottom down a little bit. It was a little too snug, so I grinded it down, made sure it fit. So this one is good to go. Okay, so now we got the locks in place and everything. I still got to do a little bit of cosmetic work over here to get this outer layer to have the diamond shape, but I'm going to do that later. Right now the staff is feeling a little bulky. There's some wood sticking out, overlapping everything. So now what I'm just going to do is take the grinder, just smooth everything out and grind it down a little bit so it's nice and comfortable and easy to hold. Okay, for this outer layer to build the the diamond shape, what we're going to do is we're going to sand out a 1/4 inch by 2 inch location right in line where these are supposed to be. And we're going to take a piece here, it's 2 inches long by about a 1/2 inch, and we're just going to glue it along here and place it there and wait for it dries. When it dries, we're going to be able to sand out that diamond shape. We're doing it this way, that way there's more surface area to glue to, that way it's stronger and it won't have a chance to pop off if bumped or anything. So we're going to do that for all 8. 4 for this, for the top and bottom, and then for the bottom wing, the 2 on top, 2 on bottom. So we're going to go ahead and do all that. Okay, now we got all these notches out, so we got a lot of surface area for the glue, for it to glue onto. So now we're just going to take our 1/2 inch by 2 inch pieces and go ahead and just glue them on in here like that. And then we're going to, after they dry, we'll sand them down, make sure they're all nice and flush, and we'll make those diamond shapes. Okay, we got these pieces dry now. Now you're just going to draw your diamond shape here. Again, this is 2 inches, so measure 1 inch in, and then a 1/4 inch out from the edge. That's your point, and then just draw your lines back down until they meet the staff. Do it for both sides. You're going to do it for all 4 of them. Then I'm just going to take an angle grinder here, just grind it down till it's in that shape. Then I'm going to smooth out the rest of this, that way it looks all nice and pretty. Okay, next what we need to do is going to be putting some small pieces of wood just right down inside here. This is what we're going to use. This is what it's going to stop the wing from coming out too far. The bottom wing, you're going to want it to set up to come out about 45 degrees. It just has to be approximate. Don't have to be exact. But for the top wings, you're going to want the wing to come out so that it sits straight across and it's at a perfect 90-degree angle. So those will need a slightly smaller piece tucked inside here, but just enough so that it sits straight across. And again, these here, you want them about at a 45. And we're just going to glue them right in here, and we'll clamp them down and wait until they dry. For both the top wings on both sides, you're going to take one of your wing pieces here and you're going to measure out 1.5 inches and 2.5 inches. We're going to drill a very small hole here. We're going to be putting nails up through the bottom, and this is where the rubber bands are going to attach on both sides, and that's what's going to help open the wings. Okay, we cut the nails about 1/2 inch in length. I'm just going to drill these holes, 4 of them, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and we're going to put the nails up through the bottom. For the bottom wing, all you're going to need is just one hole measured out 1/2 inch. Again, just one on both sides. You're using the single one on the outer pivot point here. Just drill the holes there and shove the nail up from underneath. Okay, to secure the bottom cap to the end, I just took a nail, cut it down, gave it a point, that way I can pound it in again. That slot that we made earlier, just take a nail and a washer. And you want to put it towards the back of that groove, that way you can slide it out. Okay guys, well, we're finally all done with the gluing, getting this outer shell on. We got the locks in place for both the top and bottom. We're going to end it right here for this video. In the next video we're going to finish this up, we're going to stain it, put the fabric on it, and then your staff will be complete. Till next time.